Welcome once again back to the lab. It is your old Professor Pilkin. Of course, if this is your first time, make sure you guys hit that old subscribe button. Make sure you guys like the video because today we're going to be talking about the Chi-Yu raid, the final of the ruins. Now, we are probably going to be getting the code, well, we should actually be getting the code for the Bull Moose here at the end of the week. We'll talk about that as well. And then, of course, this one will be dropping in probably about 2.5 weeks' time. So stay tuned. There's a lot more to come. And we got Pokemon Legends ZA coming up. But for now, let's jump in and talk about Chi-Yu and what we're going to be doing to take on this Mon. So probably the most predictable thing ever, we're going to be using Azumarill once again. And, of course, we've got him outfitted with a Shell Bell. Now, for the rest of the build... Now, of course, you want this Pokemon outfitted with huge power. I would probably prefer an Adamant Mint on here, but I actually went with a different mint. I went with, I think it was the Brave Mint. It actually lowers speed. I got rid of the special defense just because we do need some special defense. And you do want HP and attack fully EV trained. You definitely need those out there. Now, for moves, I have Aqua Tail, Liquidation, Tickle, and Belly Drum. Liquidation's kind of going to be our main DPS. A lot of you guys were not happy that I didn't use it last time, and you really do want Liquidation this time around because Liquidation has a chance to lower the target's defensive attack. You also do want Tickle to lower defenses. We'll kind of cover that when we get into the actual run. And you want Belly Drum to go ahead and buff, and you really only need this one time. So let's jump into the raid and we'll talk about this. Alright, so as we actually hop into the battle itself here, number one, understand that just like all the rest of the ruins, he's going to use Ruination right out of the gate. I mean, just immediately he's going to drop that. Plus, he is a special attacker, like I said before, so rather than special defense down, you want an Adamant Mint to like lower your special attack, or in my case, I use the mint that lowers my speed, because speed really is not a factor here. Either one of those mints will be fine, but you do want your attack all the way up, and you want your HP all the way up. Now, he has Heat Wave, Dark Pulse, and Snarl, and Flamethrower at his disposal. Those are his 4 main attacks here. So with a water Pokemon like this, we really don't have a lot to worry about. Now, you're going to open up, like I did a moment ago, with Tickle to kind of lower his defensive stat 1. That's going to help you out along the way. Basically, since he just put up his barrier, we're not going to be able to Tickle again, so we're going to go ahead and do a Liquidation. Now, Liquidation could lower his defensive stat, but in my situation, I don't think I got one off, and it's also a really low chance, so you can't really bank on it. However, what we're going to do now is we're going to work up to essentially the point at which that we can Belly Drum and Terrastalize. And we're going to do these in a weird order. So we're going to do our second Liquidation here. There we go. And we're waiting because he's going to remove our stats at 75% timer. So that stat removal is, I think, actually coming up next turn. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. Now remember, with that Shell Bell, we're getting, we're basically getting we're basically getting an HP back every time we attack. And as soon as you have the ability to, do that Shell Bell. Now my HP is really low, because remember, Shell Bell sacrifices half your HP to maximize your attack. Don't get too hung up on the fact that we can't Terrastalize yet, because on this turn, you're going to go ahead and drop another Liquidation, and that hits big enough, it'll give you a pretty respectable heal. There we go. Now, he could burn you, and it is possible that that might happen. If it does happen, just in one of these turns here early on, just go ahead and drop a Cheer Heal. But other than that, we're going to drop another Liquidation here. This is Liquidation number 4, and after this, we should pretty much be ready to Terrastalize. But we're not quite going to yet. You could, but it won't really be that big of a deal to kind of wait for a moment. Okay? So, here we go. So his shield is broken now. And now we can Terrastalize, but I'm going to go ahead and drop 2 Tickles real quick. Now, the main reason for this is because he will restore his stats and our stats at around 45% timer, and we don't really want to deal with that. Or, I'm sorry, 45% HP. We don't really want to deal with that. We're going to lower his defensive stats now and just wipe him out in one go. So, his defense fell. We'll do another Tickle, and basically that's going to take his defense down to basically 3 ticks down. So, essentially where you like have a maximum of 6 stat changes one way or the other, we're now going to have 3 of those 6, but that's going to be more than enough. Now, in this turn, once we have all 3 defense down statuses on him, and we've got our Belly Drum out, now we can Terrastalize, and now we can attack. And let me tell you, this is going to be a heck of an attack. And now we're done. We're literally done. Just that quickly. It's awesome. So once again, to kind of cover this one more time, you want to open up with a tickle to lower his defenses. You want to go ahead and do liquidation twice. Then you want to go ahead and belly drum. Liquidation 2 more times. And before you terastalize, go ahead and do 2 more tickles, but then terastalize, hit him with 1 final liquidation, and it's over. It is just that quick and that simple. And the rewards here are pretty sweet. We got obviously some HMs up there. Got some calcium, a lot of XP candies, and I even got some bottle caps here, which is really awesome. But the main thing is you really do want to make sure that you have your HP all the way up and that you've got your attack all the way up. Those are huge, huge, huge factors in this, because if you don't, he can actually take you out pretty quickly. I did run one of these earlier where I had special defense down, and I didn't think it would be a huge deal, but it made it very difficult to get the belly drum off. So it's really important to make sure that your EV training is absolutely on point, and I can't stress that enough. So really, all said and done, that is kind of that. Like I said, we've got the other code that is actually coming out later on this week. This code, so essentially we have to beat this 1,000,000 times. Now, you don't have to beat it yourself 1,000,000 times. It's just collective. Everybody's going to be working towards that particular goal. But honestly, we've crushed these. I don't think we've had one that's been less than 2.5 million, and that was the last one that not everyone's super cool with. I really like the shiny on this. Actually, let's go back and check out the run for a second, because I really adore the shiny on this Pokemon. So I'm just going to kind of rerun this one more time real quickly. But essentially, I just really like the shiny here. This is one of the ones that I've been waiting for since the game launched. Because remember, you can always go into Bulbapedia. You can check these out. You can actually see what the shiny looks like before you actually commit to the... before they really drop it in the game, honestly. Because they were shiny locked when they first dropped. But this is honestly, in my opinion, one of the best shinies in the whole Ruin set. Now, what is coming next is the big question, because obviously this raid's running for the next 2 weeks, then we'll be getting the code for this, and after that, we're pretty much coming up on Legends EA. So what I'm expecting is we'll probably get raids for Miraidon and Koraidon. And if it's anything like Sword and Shield, in Sword and Shield, you actually got the opposing Pokemon's... well, they did theirs through GameStop, but I highly doubt it's going to do that this time around. More than likely what's going to happen is they're going to run raids where you can actually get Koraidon or Miraidon. And then the best part about that is if you're in Scarlet and you get more than likely the Miraidon raid, and if you're in Violet, you're more than likely going to get the Koraidon raid, because that's just how they did it in Sword and Shield as well, where you got the opposing legendary that you wouldn't otherwise get, except it's in the shiny form now. What I'm kind of expecting in that regard is that once we get all those raids and we get all that in that basically you can share those raids online, and then everybody can go in and get those Pokemon. I don't think it's going to be like these. I think these are just straight up, like the gifts. I would imagine the next raids are going to be 7 stars, be very difficult and all that. So stay tuned. We'll talk about all that. It's going to be at least 2, if not 3 to 4 weeks before we see that. But I am expecting it before long. So stay tuned. That's personally what I see happening next, but we don't know for certain. That's just pure speculation. Like, share, comment. I'll catch you guys around again real soon.